So it's kind of weird how these Twitter files are being released, right? Okay, so on the first day you had the Hunter Biden stuff, then on the second day you had the confirmation of the collusion between the federal government and Twitter, at least old Twitter at the time, and now you have this little mini arc where yesterday it was all about the discussion revolving around removing Trump, or at least the suppression that was happening to him beforehand in regards to the 2020 presidential election. Today, I'm not really sure because there wasn't exactly a whole bunch of scuttlebutt around this one. To be fair, I didn't really check in with social media after I was done editing and everything last night. So, my mistake, but there's just no kind of hype for this. So I don't even know what we're going to be in for this one. But I know tonight is supposed to be the release of January 8th, what went down on that day when Trump was taken right off the platform. So let's get caught right up to date, shall we? New set of Twitter files detail events surrounding Trump's permanent ban from platform. Okay, I know a little bit about this. Okay, just to be upfront and honest about this, okay, based on kind of the headlines of the other articles that we're going to be using as well. It was about how Twitter was playing fast and loose with some of their own internal consistent rules of operation. It was involved in the Orange Man, and the Orange Man's like really bad, okay, so we need to get him off the platform. We kind of knew that from, I guess that would be, what would that be, Friday night's release, okay, because we're talking about it today, or the previous installation, okay, how about that? The stuff that Matt Taibbi dropped. This was from Michael Schellenberger. Okay, he's an author and an independent journalist, or just an independent author. I don't know, one of the Goodmans that Elon Musk decided to help him spread his message. So yeah, we had that inclination last time we talked about this stuff, and this is yesterday night's release. Sorry, I'm a bit off. It's really cold outside today, and that takes a lot out of me. So if I seem a little bit off, my apologies, but this stuff is far more important. Hopefully I'll get into the swing of it by the end of it. All right, so back to this. Okay, so independent author Michael Schellenberger published part 4 of the Twitter files on Saturday night, following a week of significant revelations about the political activities that transpired under the former leadership of the influential social media company. Schellenberger, an eco-modernist, who publishes his writings on Substack, outlined in part 4 of the Twitter files how the company executives built their case for permanently banning former President Donald Trump on the platform on January 7th, 2021. So what's all that stuff about January 8th? Maybe I'm misremembering. Anyways, so Schellenberger, Taibbi, and a number of other journalists. Oh, there's more? Because I know that there's, yes, Matt Taibbi and Barry Weiss on this roster, and Schellenberger's one of the new introductions, or rather one of the new actors in this play. So, okay, if there's more people, okay, the more the merrier, I suppose. Had access to internal company communications outlining Twitter's approach to information moderation during the times predating new CEO Elon Musk's October takeover, Schellenberger said late Saturday. The internal communications showed that Twitter leadership had decided to pursue a change of policy for Trump alone, distinct from other political leaders. Wow! Okay, because there's always that hack comparison, right? Oh, Trump got kicked off the platform, but the Ayatollah of Iran is still on the platform. So, hey man, consistently pointing out the inconsistencies in Twitter's logic. Kind of seems like there's some sauce to be sussed out from that. Back to this, and that they expressed no concern for the free speech or democracy implications of a ban. Yeah, but at the same time, they also were working with the federal government, which would make Twitter a mouthpiece, or rather acting under the auspices of the federal government, under direct control of, rather. So they would be subject to the United States Constitution. Okay, they'd be subject to the free speech amendment, the First Amendment, Second Amendment, I guess. But I don't think Twitter's out there taking anybody's guns or anything like that right now, as we know. But because they were actors of the federal government, their implications when it came to censoring not just President Trump, but Charlie Kirk, Turning Point USA, Dan Bongino, James Woods, who's taking this shit really fucking personally, the Libs of TikTok account. Like, we have all of this information here, okay? So for them to say that it was just Trump alone, and it's like, we also know that there are other people that were running for Congress who were also getting their accounts banned at the same time. So I guess it's one of those slippery slope arguments, right? Oh no, we have to get rid of Trump because he's so bad. Okay, you cross that Rubicon, and guess what? There's no going back on this one. Okay, right now it's Trump. Oh, but then somebody's acting like Trump, so we got to get rid of him. Okay, and then she's saying a bunch of stuff that Trump would say at the exact same time, and then all of a sudden it's everybody who I ban from Twitter is just a bad faith Nazi actor, right? Following the events of January 6, former Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey was facing growing internal and external pressure to ban Trump from the platform, Schellenberger said. Trump was demonized among Democrats, which was the political preference amongst most Twitter staff and senior executives in 18, 20, and 22. 96, 98, 99% of Twitter staff's political donations went to Democrats. Yeah, and you can check that on Open Secrets if you don't believe them. But yeah, no, we've seen that. But that's astounding to see that in particular. That's amazing. Holy. And that's not unique to just Twitter. Okay, take a look at all of the other big tech platforms. Okay, big tech platforms, big business entities as well, like Disney, AT&T, Mars Bar Corporation, like all of them. They all do that same type of split. So for Joe Biden to say that, he's the voice of the working class, is like, bro, we can take a look at your political donations. And that shit doesn't fucking shake out, Back to Barack Obama's, we need to stand up for Main Street. And we need to take it to Wall Street. It's like, bro, you're never actually going to end up doing that. You were the one who signed the pieces of paper while Joe Biden delivered the checks when it came to bailing out all of those companies in 2008. Okay, it wasn't that long ago. We got fucking memories, okay? We remember this shit. You don't give a fuck about the regular person. You don't give a fuck about your everyday small business owners and operators, okay? Because those people, they got shut down. But guess who got to continue to stay open uninterrupted over the past 3 years, okay? Costco, Walmart, Amazon, all of the big box stores got to stay open. And as for the big places that got closed down, like your movie theaters and all that stuff, oh boy, they got a pretty hefty bailout now, didn't they? Really does get the old noggin jogging now, doesn't it? Voices pressuring Dorsey to remove Trump after the events of January 6 included former First Lady Michelle Obama, tech journalist Kara Swisher, Jewish NGO Anti-Defamation League. Yeah, of course. We all remember those, okay? Those were public tweets as well. I remember Big Mike talking about that. Kamala Harris was also doing the exact same thing as well. And the ADL, yeah, of course. Like, they're going to fucking stick their beaks. It's not a nose joke or anything. You take it how you want, I guess. It's just, I'm sure that there's going to be some people that are going to see the inclusion of, the ADL. Oh, yeah, right. Oh, they're all in on it once again. It's like, just stop it already, you guys. You're fucking embarrassing yourselves. Because Dorsey was on vacation. Yeah, he was in French Polynesia when all this happened. Very convenient, huh? Yeah, it was like, well, I was out of the country at the time when my board made the decision, so... It's like, dude, to take a page out of another, company's books, don't you guys have phones? And it's like, he knew exactly what this was, and he would have signed off on it in one form or fashion, okay? He wasn't going to be the reasonable voice in the room at the end of the day. Like, just stop it, okay? We've seen what happened with Alex Jones. Like, I'm pretty sure it was Twitter that was the last place that he was allowed to be on. And then after, a day or two of everybody else quibbling and quabbling, they were like, well, he didn't do anything, so we can't ban him off the platform. And then enough people just continue to bark, and he's like, okay, we'll get rid of him off the platform. Just shut up already. It'll be interesting if there's anything specifically in these Twitter files regarding InfoWars, because that would be some very interesting stuff. But we also know Elon's thought process when it comes to Alex Jones and InfoWars, so I wouldn't bet on it. It would be very interesting, but I don't really know about that, okay? Because Dorsey, yes, was on vacation at a time, he had delegated much of the handling of the situation to senior Twitter executives at the time. They were Yoel Roth, who we have got to talk about, because that dude, holy, is he just the embodiment of the groomer? Oh my God. Twitter's former head of trust and safety, the currently unemployed Vijaya Gadde, Twitter's former head of legal and policy trust. Roth had publicly acknowledged his anti-Trump views on Twitter many times. Yeah, there's a bunch of different screenshots of a whole host of different tweets from this fucking guy. He had posted in 2017 that there were actual Nazis in the White House, like literally, guys, in reference to President Trump. Schellenberger said Roth Excited to share that Dorsey approved a decision from Twitter to introduce new policy that would allow it to permanently ban users who are considered a repeat offender for civic integrity. Okay, but what were the repeat offenses from Trump, though? I'm just wondering. And I wonder if this has anything to do with instituting those stupid little fact check or the little additional context boxes that were placed at the bottom of different tweets there for a minute around the election. I wonder if that had play in anything on this. Okay, so a repeat offender. So if your tweets get flagged enough, then you can just get yeeted off the platform. Is that what we're dealing with here? So again, while Dorsey wasn't the guy swinging the sword to lop the head off, he already sharpened it. So let's not fucking mince words here. He was just as culpable as everybody else. New approach would create a system where 5 violations or strikes would result in a permanent suspension. Wow, that is far more lenient than, well, it depends on how long those are spaced out, okay? Because on YouTube, like, what's my strike count over the past, everything kind of started, because you get your warning, and it tells you right up there at the top, early February of 2021. Since then, I think I've won or lost or been suspended 4, and a couple of them are still active right now, so I wake up every morning just hoping that my account's not fucking gone, because that would be sad, and it's 2 years gone down the drain, but I'm real close. I'm really fucking close. Okay, don't want to jinx anything, touch wood, but 10, I think I'm in on and around, okay? 10 or 12 different strikes. I've won half of the time, so it's not that bad. If this was the Baseball Hall of Fame, I would be a first ballot Hall of Famer with a 50% win rate, okay? So I try to look at the bright side of life. The exchange between Roth and his colleagues make clear that they had been pushing Dorsey for greater restrictions on the speech Twitter allows around elections. He cited what the members of Roth's Trust and Safety team wrote on January 7th in response to Dorsey's approval of the new policy. Progress! Does this affect our approach to Trump? Oh, fuck, they're just getting right down to business. Hey, look, guys, we need a new policy, but the boss has to sign off on it. Great, he signed off on it. How do we get rid of Trump? I'm not even being hyperbolic. It's in their words, who I think that we publicly said had one remaining strike. The world didn't know that, but I guess you guys knew that. And normally, the way that these policies work, people's old violations or strikes under the new world, they wouldn't be grandfathered in, okay? Everybody would be, starting day 1, so January 7th, going forward, and you would normally announce this, but no, man, all of this stuff is just coming to light. What is this? Oh, December 10th, 2022. Great stuff. Trump continued to have his one strike, Roth responded. This is for everything else. Oh my God. Despite that, by the following day, January 8th, Twitter announced a permanent ban on Trump, citing risk of further incitement of violence. Oh, he could do something in the future. Therefore, we got to preemptively get rid of him, Minority Report style. These are old talking points from back when this was going down at the time. I still had hope in the world. Now it's just, I don't know, maybe took the clown pill a long fucking time ago and just think that all of this shit is buck wild. But, maybe a little bit of hope. Maybe just a smidge of that white pill, thinking that, things are ultimately going to get better. Still think things are going to get weirder over the next 2 years. I don't know if that means better or worse, but honk honk, we're all here for it. Shortly following Trump's ban, Epoch Times reached out to Twitter asking whether it had any solid evidence that Trump's statements were directly linked to any violence. Twitter did not respond. No, we're too busy deleting everything. Schellenberger noted, well, that was back at the time. Now, I don't know, they just don't have the manpower to answer any tickets. So, it's a skeleton crew. It's working good, so, hey, whatever, man. Schellenberger noted what appears to be a conflict in Twitter policy over time, such that while Twitter on January 8th said Trump's ban is based on specifically how Trump's tweets are being received and interpreted. The social media giant back in 2019 said it did not attempt to determine all potential interpretations of the content or its intent. The only serious concern we found expressed within Twitter over the implications of free speech and democracy of banning Trump came from a junior person in the organization. Of course, over under 3 non-standard hair colors. Just wondering. This might be an unpopular opinion. It's probably not. I hate this. It's kind of like whenever somebody goes, hot take. Okay, I shouldn't be too critical. I got a video coming out before Christmas, I think, I would imagine. So that has that, but then again, titles are supposed to elicit a strong response. But anyways, if you're talking like this uncritically between coworkers, it's like you already know you're going to get support. You're just trying to cushion the blow, so just stop it. I hate when people talk with flowery language. Just get to the point. Speaking of which, but one-off ad hoc decisions like this that don't appear rooted in policy are, in my honest opinion, a slippery slope. This now appears to be a fiat by an online platform CEO with a global presence that can gatekeep speech for the entire world, which seems unsustainable. Holy fuck. So I was completely wrong about that person. Yo, that was somebody who could actually see into the future. It's like, yo, this is really terrible precedent. Are we going to continue to do this? It's like, why are you guys all clapping? The fucking city's burning. Can we not do this? Oh my god. The same employee had written earlier in the day that their concern is specifically surrounding the inarticulated logic of the decision by Facebook, which suggests the idea or conspiracy theory. No, you with your tinfoil hat on. What are you talking about? This can't possibly be just, presaging things to come. What are you talking about? That all social media heads and internet moguls at every layer sit around like kings casually deciding what people can and cannot see. I remember hearing this stuff, just from different pundits out on social media after all these decisions were being made, but there were some sane people there at the time. Okay, I'll just go ahead and I'll redo what I was asking before. Okay, when I said hair colors before, just wipe that from your mind. Don't worry about it. We'll just delete it like some unsavory emails on a specific server. Okay, just do that. But you think this person still has a job at Twitter? Yes or no? That's what I'm wondering. Okay, I would probably put it firmly behind, yeah, man, this was probably just some coder that was out there just, running through the rationale, and it's like, none of this makes sense. It's like, oh, but all your coworkers are ideologically driven. I get it. The employee said they believe the situation is unhelpful to the internet ecosystem as a whole. The employee also provided a link to an article titled Facebook chucked its own, rulebook to ban Trump by author Will Oramus, and commented, and Will Oramus noted the inconsistency too. In the referred article, Oramus wrote that dominant social media platforms will have always been loath to own up to their subjectivity because it highlights the extraordinarily unfettered power they wield over global public squares and places the responsibility of the power on their own shoulders. And so they hide behind an ever-changing rulebook, alternatively pointing to it when it's convenient and shoving it under the nearest rug when it isn't. Very cute way to say rules for me and not for thee. There you go. Upon his takeover, Musk promised to provide transparency surrounding Twitter practices. And yeah, this is going to conclude later today, okay? After this is published and you guys watch the recap of yesterday's stuff, then we'll have a recap of today's stuff tomorrow. It's very interesting, and my release schedule isn't conducive to putting this out in a timely fashion, okay? So do forgive me for being a day late, but we at least get nice little recaps like this, and, just the extended context on this that you can't just get from snap knee-jerk releases, okay? So Twitter deviated from longstanding policy to justify Trump's ban. Part 4 of the Twitter files revealed. We'll just go through some of this. A lot of it's just running it back once again. So Yoel Roth, then Twitter's head of trust and safety, told a sales executive in a message on January 7th, one day before Trump's Twitter account was permanently banned, that the company was changing our public interest approach and Trump's accounts in this specific case. Roth was referring to Twitter's longstanding public interest exceptions policy, which allows elected officials to post content even if some content violate Twitter rules. Twitter generally actions tweets that violate our rules, okay? Twitter said on its website and its outline of the policy. However, we recognize that sometimes it may be in the public interest to allow people to view tweets that would otherwise be taken down. Whatever could you be meaning? We consider content to be in the public interest if it directly contributes to understanding the discussion of a matter of public concern. Yeah, kind of like the elected leader of the free world who, honestly, yeah, he was in his lame duck period, but he posted a video telling everybody to go home with love and wonder in your heart and whatever flowery shit he was talking about over top of that. But that was an incitement to violence or presage of future things to come, so we need to get rid of them. Like, cool. Came after a sales executive told Roth, Jack says, oh, but I thought he was on vacation, so he didn't have anything to do about this. Interesting. We will permanently suspend Trump if our policies are violated within the 12-hour account lock. What policies is Jack talking about? Oh, the sales executive was presumably referring to then Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey. Oh, but he didn't know anything. Like, literally, this guy is just a wandering, he's a marvel of human ingenuity. He simultaneously built the platform, but doesn't know anything that's going on at any point in time. He's just a CEO in name only, god damn it. Roth responded, any policy violation. According to the messages shared by Schellenberger and Woodhouse. Who the fuck is Woodhouse? Okay, am I missing something? Leighton Woodhouse. Oh, okay, cool. So I guess our dude here was also commenting on this as well. Later that day, a Twitter engineer asked Roth whether there had been discussions about reshaping the rules around official accounts, citing real Donald Trump and Trump's Twitter handle as an example. I feel like, Merch, a lot of debates around exceptions stem from the fact that Trump's account is not technically different from anybody else's. He's the sitting president, and that's what he uses to communicate with the world. So I would consider that to be a little bit different, okay, when it's something of that level of prominence. 100 and some odd million followers, okay, and the dude hasn't even tweeted since his account's been reinstated, and it's already just about at 90 million once again. It's a little significant, I'm just saying. But yes, when you're trying to justify booting him off the platform for not violating any rules and you need to drum up new rules, you have to figure out, okay, what can we get him on the things that he's already saying that would violate a new policy? Okay, can we figure something out? But yes, personal status without corresponding Twitter rules to clarify the responsibilities that should come with that status, the engineer continued. Roth concurred, I think you're spot on. To put a different spin on it, policy is one part of the system of how Twitter works. There are different things you can change when you want to affect different behaviors. Policy and enforcement are one, the product is another. All of that is situated in a bigger system. The world, oh my god, they just want to take over the world with Twitter. It's like, you guys are what, like the third or fourth most important social media platform? Like Facebook, Instagram. If you don't want to include YouTube in there, either or, it's like, that's interesting. Like TikTok is probably there right now. Was it there in 2021? Probably, you could argue that, but Twitter's comfortably well below the rest of them, okay? There's a reason that Elon Musk was able to buy Twitter in its totality and not anything else that's far more influential. You could just take a look at trends, like what tracks the best, okay? What are the biggest sites online? Who goes to what the most? It's like Twitter's somewhere in the 20th when it comes to all the websites online. It might have changed recently with, you know, the influx of new users that's on there, but it's comfortably in the double digits as opposed to what Google, Meta, all of those regular platforms. But yes, they're still talking about taking over the world, mostly because they work in close contact with the other big companies in order to control the public dialogue. When you change one part of the system, you necessarily have to adapt the rest. And I think we ran into a world changing faster than we both were able to either adapt the product or the policy. We can and should do both. I hate whenever I see language like that. It's like, I understand what you're trying to do, okay? You're trying to make the world a safer and better place. But your methods at doing so, questionable. Questionable is the best way to put it. Disingenuous is another way to put it. Frankly evil because you're wanting to stamp out the rest of your opposition. That's another opinionated argument that you could make. But this is somebody who thinks that they have way more sway in the world than they actually do. But if Twitter really was, well, it wasn't, because Facebook was the other one that made the decision to pull them first. So they were just following in lockstep with the rest of the other platforms, because after Twitter kicked them off, okay, Trump was deplatformed from like Shopify, Teespring, just about everywhere else you could think. And then it eventually rolled down to different banks would no longer do business with them. Okay, the PGA withdrew any sort of, dates that they had at some of his golf courses. It was like, yeah, man, he was depersoned. But he's Trump after all. Like, there's certain people that can rise above that. Others can't. Schellenberger commented that Roth's response hints at how Twitter would justify deviating from a longstanding policy. Twitter on January 8th announced permanent ban. Yes. All right, let's get the caption from Trump correct, okay? Because I butchered it to begin with. You have to go home. You have to go home now. We have to have peace. We have to have law and order. And law and order, it's a great thing. If you can't have one without the other. And we have to respect our great people in law and order. Trump said in the deleted video, yes, which was used as justification to get him off that damn platform. You can't have that video out there anymore because it's dangerous, because he said that there were good people out there. Permanent ban of Trump conflicted with Twitter's language outlining its own policies for regulating content from world leaders, Schellenberger noted. He pointed out that Twitter on January 8th said Trump's ban is based on specifically how Trump's tweets are being received and interpreted. Okay, so now, this is always the justification from these sort of politically aligned individuals. Not necessarily what you said, it's how other people are taking the words that you said and using them to their own machinations, okay? It's always the justification for getting rid of people, and this gives you the receipts for everything that you've been long since trying to understand, okay? Because whenever mass media will put it out there, it's like, well, we can't point to anything specifically that they said. All it was just that's a dangerous person. So what's a dangerous person? Somebody who says things that aren't necessarily calls for anything in particular. It's just the way that theoretical people, the straw men out in the field, could take those words and use them to justify violence. Okay, did Trump call for violence? No, he did in fact the opposite of that. But people could theoretically listen to that and realize that, oh, that just means go home, buy a bunch of ammo, and then eventually we'll need to take up arms. Like, the fuck are you going on here? Same thing happened to what? The other most obvious example and the most recent one, Kanye West. What did he exactly say? Okay, he wants to go DEFCON 3 on the Jews. It's like, okay, cool. What do you exactly mean by that? Well, he meant DEFCON 3. Okay, what do you mean about that? And it's like, well, I just want to get on InfoWars and say I love Hitler. And it's like, oh my God, bro. That motherfucker's wild right now. But then even before, it's like, okay, just to finish that off, it's like, what was he specifically doing? Well, no, did he call for violence against anybody? No, he said that he loves everybody. So it's like, okay, cool. But people could take that. Okay, we get it. And then just even earlier this year, it's like, okay, the words of Andrew Tate, he's a dangerous person. What did he specifically say? Well, there was this post from this teacher that was on Reddit that said that she had students that were beating the girls that were there and telling them that they should go back in the kitchen because that's what Andrew Tate says. And it's like, did he actually say that? No, never. But that was justification enough to get him off every fucking platform, because if you want to draw probably the closest comparison, okay, between the deplatforming, depersoning that Trump got, Andrew Tate got it pretty much 1-for-1. Funnily enough, the only social media platform that has him back on right now in an official capacity is Twitter. But yes, moving ahead a little bit in regards to this junior executive that's out there, the real hero in this situation. I feel bad for saying that this was one of those blue-haired weirdos. Should have been reading a little closer. Sorry, I said in the beginning I'm a little off. It's cold up here and it takes a lot out of the guy. At least one junior level employee at Twitter expressed concern over singling Trump out for a permanent ban. Schellenberger said the internal communications were tucked away in a lower level Slack channel known as Site Integrity Auto. This might be an unpopular opinion. We don't need to read over that. Okay, if you missed that, you can just either read it on screen. It's right there. Did I get it? Yeah, I got it right this time. Okay. Or, you could just reverse it, just press the 10 seconds back. Or if you're on Rumble, the 15 seconds. Or if you're on Odyssey, I don't know if anybody's still over on Odyssey, but anyway, still, you could just go back a couple of seconds. Okay, we read it before, and I won't waste anybody else's time. It now appears to be a fiat by an online platform CEO with a global presence that can gatekeep speech for the entire world, which seems unsustainable. The White House and separately Trump himself had on January 7th, 2021, condemned the violence that took place at or around the Capitol on January 6th. Like all Americans, I am outraged by the violence, lawlessness, and mayhem. I am immediately deploying the National Guard and federal law enforcement to secure the building and expel the intruders, Trump said in a video posted on Twitter before his account was permanently suspended. Yeah, but that's funny. Who was supposed to be in charge of the National Guard that day? Oh, Nancy Pelosi and Muriel Bowser, the mayor of Washington, D.C. But that's another topic for another time, okay? So we know specifically today what is supposed to be dropped. Everything that was happening on the day of the banning, okay? So we know all the justification, the new policies that were coming in, the fact that they were targeting and that they were focusing their sights specifically on Trump. This wasn't anything new. They knew beforehand, okay? Back in October, a month before the presidential election in 2020. They were already devising all of their strategies that were out there. They were just like, just give me the justification. Just give me a reason. They had the attack dogs ready. And January 6th was just that thing to be like, oh, buddy, now it's time to go. So that'll be interesting to see. I'm sure that'll probably get quite a bit of coverage. This one, I think it's interesting, okay? It's definitely the weakest of the 4 days. I think I can I can unequivocally say that. It's definitely the weakest of the four. The rest of them, I'd have to go back and take a look at it, okay? I don't really think, well, it's all, the rest of them are all very interesting. But I think today's stuff is going to be, if it is what we all think it's going to be tough to cover on YouTube. We'll just, go ahead and say that. Maybe, perhaps, okay? But I'll try my damnedest tomorrow in some form or fashion, okay? But what can we expect after that? Because that isn't going to be the climax of the Twitter files. Like, okay, Twitter is bigger than Trump. He is the biggest user, and if he ever comes back to the platform, he's going to have the biggest account, okay? It's going to be well larger than Elon Musk, okay? There's one Trump that's out there, okay? Elon Musk tries to do a bad impression of Trump by being a meme lord, but Trump's Trump at the end of the day, okay? If he comes back to the platform, it's fucking over for everybody. The place just goes down and it melts down in a spectacular, spurgy fire. And I want it more than I want oxygen in my lungs. But we'll have to see. He's probably got to work something out with his own platform in order to have some sort of exclusivity deal over there and then post his opinions on Twitter a little while later. It'll just be weird to figure out how it works with likes and retweets and, replies to anything because, hey, all of that stuff gets sketchy. And I'm sure that they're probably figuring something out because Trump probably has the app downloaded and he's like, just let me put, oh, God damn it, somebody take my phone right now. I don't need this. Like the guy famously doesn't do any drugs or drinking, okay? But we all know he's got quite the addiction to Twitter, okay? So this is probably tough shit for him right now. But Trump being deplatformed in early 2021, it's not going to be the crescendo, okay? Where are we going to go after the Trump deplatforming? Elon Musk apparently has an idea for us, and it was something that's been long speculated for a while, and it's probably the most censored thing that has been on the internet, especially over the past couple of years. Elon Musk signals the release of Twitter files on COVID-19 rules. Oh, buddy, I think we're all here for that right now because there's some prominent talking heads right now that are spurging out. Oh my God, what's his name? Dr. Peter Hotez, okay, the guy who was on Joe Rogan's show very early during the pandemic, just fear-mongering like a motherfucker. Oh my God, now he's trying to peddle some fucking book and say that excess death because of anti-science behavior is going to eclipse 200,000 people. How many people died because they couldn't get proper cancer screening, okay, couldn't get proper elective surgeries that led to, I don't know, death or some sort of lifelong impairment, okay? I think those are probably a little bit more important than, continue to wear your mask, but we could delve down that rabbit hole, and even the restrictions talking about this stuff have been relaxed quite a bit on YouTube, but until all of that stuff drops, and who knows when that's ultimately going to come out, it's just something that I've been looking forward to. I'm sure you guys have been looking forward to, but when they do eventually drop, and if they do in some form or fashion, we'll be talking about it, because we're going to be seeing this shit all the way fucking through. And yeah, 2023, man, it's going to be a historic year one way or another. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.